Hi there! I'm Jamie Lippener, and welcome to the Why Not Series podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I believe some of the most pivotal, important, impactful, awesome, and are just really freaking fun moments come about in those times when we say, why not? When we just let ourselves go and do what we know just feels right, regardless of too much thought, regardless of fear, regardless of doubt. When we just go for it and trust that it's all going to work out, whatever that might look like. So, join me in discovering what these moments look like for people all over the world. Sit back, relax, and get inspired to say, why not? On today's podcast, we'll be interviewing Maxim, a 26-year-old software engineer from the Netherlands who's been traveling the globe for about a year now. He risked his degree and nearly a guaranteed career to go after a life that is truly his, that is truly fulfilling. Join us to hear the story of how and why.
Well, I'm Max. I'm 26 years old. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm a software engineer. I work at Bitterfield. And I'm their software engineer. I work full time, remotely, and this is why I combine two biggest passions in my life: engineering and traveling.
Heck yeah. Okay, so you're 26 and you're working full-time remote. Have you ever had a job where you were working, like, let's call it the traditional 9 to 5, Monday through Friday in the office?
Not really. I recently graduated 2.5 years ago. So this is my second job.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh yeah, school. No, you're always learning. Forever student.
Yeah,
My
so true.
previous job was in an office, but it was not 9 to 5 traditional. We were a startup too, really small, 4 people full time, all young and fresh. So we were not, we didn't have any of these dogmas that the older generation have. We were a millennial company, so I did work. I did make 12, sometimes up to 14 hours a day, but it was not that I need to be at the office at 9 and I could leave at 5. Sometimes I would show up at 10 and then I would leave at 11 at night and then I'll go home and sleep. And
So you just needed to get your work done, whatever that
exactly, yeah, and I would regularly work on weekends too. And yeah, there was no strictly 9 to 5. But I did work in an office. I did work in an office. So this is the first time that I'm actually working completely remote. And uh, honestly, not much has changed because even though you work in an office, the nature of our job, we always communicate on Slack and email, and everything's online, all the documentation and the collaboration. So uh, there was not much of a. You didn't have to give up much to actually go fully remote.
Yeah, maybe you didn't have to give up much in terms of your work life, but maybe other things. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's the usual water cooler conversations that you'd have. Um,
Well, what about outside from work? I mean, you left everything, right?
well, yeah, yeah.
So you said there's not much to give up, but
No, a lot of things have changed, but no, it's true. It's true. You don't. What I was trying to say is that as a company, that more companies should embrace remote work and let people live
oh,
and
we're
work
doing a
with
little remote work plug.
their
Okay.
with their happiest. A bunch has changed in my personal life. Yeah, no, you're right.
It's not about being right, just thinking about, yeah, in terms of work, you didn't leave much behind and it works great. But there's a whole other side to life that maybe stops people
For
from
sure.
doing something like you're doing.
Fear is number one.
Fear is number one. Yeah. So on that note, and fear, and that leads right into kind of the question is, you agreed to do this interview and talk about why not. So why? Like, what does why not mean for you, Max?
So here's the thing that you this name is, first of all, it's super catchy, and whenever you're gonna ask, like, I'm your number 4, but you're gonna have many more. I think it's gonna be very successful. I like your concept, and whenever you're gonna go and ask someone if they want to interview, take an interview for this why not series, it's just like, why not, right?
Yeah, you kind of have to say
So
it,
that
right?
was my, like, the first thing that popped into my head. Why not? They're like, oh shit, I can't. Yeah, I can't really say it now. But it's also um, it's how I live life. Basically, I number one thing that I would really hate is to one day wake up, be 80 years old, and look back at my life and be regretful of. I think it's, there have been several studies, and people have been interviewed on their deathbed or when they were old, and they've been asked what's the biggest regrets you've had in life, because it's naturally curious. People get curious about that. We want to learn from our elders and do the things they haven't or do it differently. And the biggest number one regret is not the things that you have done, but it's the things you haven't done in your life.
Absolutely.
And I'd rather do a bunch of things. Sometimes I need to say more often no, because I'm say yes a lot of times. But
So let's stop there for a second. You think you say yes too much?
um, it's not too much, but I do say yes a lot, and maybe that sometimes um, makes me lose the focus.
Talk about that more. Focus on what?
What I mean by losing focus is that sometimes that might stray me away from the longer term goal that I have or have not set out for me, and that's basically it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's maybe putting like too much on your plate, not being able to focus on one thing really well or something like that. I think that there's a difference between saying yes to a lot of things just to try it out and do it, because the things that you said yes to are kind of things that you already knew that you wanted to try out anyway. I'm assuming all in the software engineering space, right?
Yeah.
Nothing too like, ooh, I'm scared of that. Should I try it?
Yeah.
Because I'm a yes person too. I say yes to a lot of things. Specifically though, with a why not, it's those moments where it's kind of like taking a leap into the unknown. So it's not like the typical things in your life that you would just say yes to, or you want to go to this party or not. Although sometimes that can be, but it's more of the moments that you almost hesitate for a second, and then you're like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. You see the difference there?
I do. Yes.
So,
Yes.
in thinking about that, um, talk about the moments that you like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go for it.
Well, the biggest moment in the recent past that has defined me and that has allowed me to be here where I am today is when I was finishing up my studies. And I was writing my thesis, and I was procrastinating a huge time.
What was your thesis on?
It was on. It was so boring that the title was 2 3 lines. It's basically it was about.
But interesting enough for you to write a thesis on it. To you, interesting.
Well, yeah,
Maybe.
it was interesting, but let's be honest. Like, how many students are actually passionate about the topic, their thesis topics?
That's a good question. I mean, I
Amongst
don't
my
know.
friends, very little.
Okay.
Mostly the professors just have a list, and you can choose what the title that you like, and you'd be like, yeah, I'll get this one. And obviously, you kind of like a bit, but it's not something that triggers you 100%. It's
Ah,
not something that makes you want to wake up in the morning and be like, I'm gonna work on my thesis today. Nobody has ever said that.
Okay, hence the procrastination.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So
okay.
my thesis was about, I was analyzing 4.5 years worth of um, intraday stock prices on the Dutch market exchange, and because it was such a huge amount of data, I needed to learn. I couldn't do it in Excel. I needed to learn a R, it's data analysis programming language that would allow me to do some statistical analysis on those numbers, and and yeah, to prove my hypothesis or not. So while I
So
was
that's where you bridge kind of the finance world, stock market to software engineering.
well, yes, but that was the tipping point because I just came back from a 6 month backpacking and volunteering trip in South America, and I still didn't knew what I wanna, where I wanna to work, um, which master I would study, and I was a bit, in a dilemma. And when I was working on this, uh, the procrastination was actually something that was related to my passion for that's been there for a long time since I was a
Mm.
teenager. I started to learn other programming languages and a bit dabble with web development and websites, and that's something I used to do since I was 12, 13 years old, but kind of stopped as soon as I got into college because I wanted to focus more on my social skills. And I used to say, I used to stay behind my laptop a lot and, just doing these things. But I noticed that to be successful in life, you need to be a people's person, or at least need to be able to collaborate and work together with other people. You can be Einstein, you can be a genius, but if you're not able to inspire people or communicate your knowledge with others,
Checking to make sure we're
you
still
will
recording. Okay.
you will not, or at least other people will not see your full potential. And I
Okay.
think that's equally as important as you realizing
Absolutely. Otherwise, it sounds like you just would have been hidden behind the computer screen and people wouldn't have gotten to see you.
Yes, yes. If a flower flourishes and it's beautiful, but there's no one to see it, is it still beautiful?
There's a bear shit in the woods if no one sees it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's when I gave myself time. I was like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna finish my thesis. I'm gonna get my diploma because I'm at the finish line. But I'm gonna try something new, and that was the why not moment that changed the course of my life for the past 3 years. I'm gonna give myself 6 months to get a job in web development.
Hmm.
I started so
That
I
was before or after you graduated, you decided that?
while I was graduating.
While you were
So
graduating.
2 months
Okay.
before I received my diploma, I was kind of like already teaching myself software engineering and web development.
Okay.
But like on the side, I just had to finish a couple of things on my thesis and hand it in, and there was not a lot of work. Um, so basically my procrastination turned into something I like doing. I
Everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah, I spent 40 to 60 hours a week just learning and working on this project, non-profit project that I got, um, that I worked with a guy from LA. We did a project for a non-profit organization in Canada, and in 3 months we presented to them. They really liked it. They used it up until today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was your first project as a web developer?
Yes.
Software engineer?
Yes.
Okay.
And I did it pro bono, but it was a really good learning experience, and that's what landed me my first software engineering job.
Yeah. So it was the moment that it's okay. This is great because there's a lot of people I know, especially like our age. You're 26, I'm 29. That you spend X amount of money going to college or university, and let's say you get a finance degree. How many people stay stuck in that field forever because they paid the money for the degree and they have to do that and they're miserable?
Yeah.
It's so many people I hear that, but it's inspiring. You made the choice in that moment to be like, you know what, actually, like, yeah, I'm getting this degree, but I'm gonna do something completely different.
Yeah, because it's not, if you're gonna do something just for the money, you have 3/3 of your life. 1/3 you're sleeping. At least I am. I like my 8 hours of sleep. The other third you're working. If you have a 9 to 5, which most people do, and then the other third is your leisure time. And if you're not too exhausted from the working day, you get to actually spend that free time and have some quality time with yourself, with your family, with your friends. But most of the people don't, because from those working hours, they just come home and they feel exhausted. They turn on Netflix, or they just sit on the couch and do nothing, and they waste their precious time of their day instead of spending time on self development or things that I like doing. Um, and for me, that just seems like, why would I do that? Why would I want to do something that I don't like to earn money in order to be able to spend that money in my free time, which hopefully, maybe yes or no, I will have the time for, and I will have the energy to do it, in order to wake up the next day and do the same thing all over again. And I basically saw my life playing out for the next 30, 40 years, and I didn't like the way the things were going, because it's like a preordained path. All my friends have done the same thing, and um, it's no, it's not the way I wanted to live my life.
Yeah, I think it's almost feels easy because it's like that's just the way it's supposed to happen and it's kind of laid out for you. Easier than trying something totally unknown, but is it as fulfilling in any way whatsoever? Like you said, does it allow you the space, the energy to really do the things that you love? No.
Yeah. See, if you're not gonna make a choice yourself, somebody else will for you. Either
Mm.
way, you have to. There's no passive.
Yes.
You cannot be passive. Your life
Say
will
that
be
one
like.
more time. Say it one more time.
It's not original. I read it
I like.
somewhere, sometime. But if you're not gonna make a conscious choice yourself of what you're gonna do, other people will do it for you. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen if you want it or not. So you'd rather be at the steering wheel of your life and not in the passenger seat.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for what's like? How do you feel now that you did that for yourself?
I'm. That was a risky move, but it was a move with an upside that's much greater than I would have expected.
What was the risk?
The risk would have been. I mean, the risk is still minimal. We live in a first world country. Compared to other people out there that don't even have the opportunity to go to college, and they have to work to sustain their families, and they're big family with 6 siblings, and you're the oldest, and you have to do 2 3 jobs just to be able to make a living. No, I don't compare myself to those. I'm
You're
really
right.
happy where.
We have the privilege to be able to say why
Yes,
not.
yes, exactly.
Not everyone gets that. It's a very good point.
You have to be very well aware of your privilege. I wouldn't be able to do what I do today if my mom hadn't made the sacrifices that she did to give me a jump start in my life.
100%.
But there were some risks. There were some risks that it would turn into a flop. I would have wasted 6 months of my life, and I would go back to the beginning. I would have missed the boat of just enrolling straight to the master's degree and getting a job right away. And
There's a drone here.
It's buzzing a lot.
It is a co-working space, so yes, we found a private corner to talk, but there's a drone staring at us. Sorry, keep going.
And
so the risk was okay. You could have spent 6 months; it would have been a flop.
It would have been a flop, and then the way I study in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and it's a very competitive environment to be in, which is good. But because you see all these students, they do extracurricular activities to make themselves stand out on the resume, on the pile of resumes of hundreds. And if you have if you even have a couple of months gap in your resume that you cannot justify what you did, like something that you've been doing to work towards your next career, um, like recruiters frown upon that.
Right.
So the risk would have been that I wasted 6 months of my life. I apply for jobs, and people be like, "Yeah, well, we can either choose between someone who's did a full time board position at a student fraternity or a student association and actually got the experience, or someone who tried something new and failed." And yeah, some recruiters might appreciate that, but it's not forward mentality thinking that most people have. So that would have been the risk.
And what? And you kind of touched upon it, but what made you say, "Well, screw the risk. I'm doing it anyway"?
Because I just got so miserable of like seeing how my life would play out. Like that would have been an option, and I know that kind of triggered. I remember it was a December winter night. I was um, I was watching. It's a classic, but if you haven't seen it, I really recommend you to. It's Steve Jobs' commencement speech at Stanford, 2006, and I watched it. I've watched it previously. That wasn't the first time, but for some reason that time clicked, and it was at this point during the speech when he said, um, "You have to somehow trust that whatever you're doing today will make sense in the future. You cannot,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
You cannot connect the dots like while you're playing it out because life is um,
I
to
think
quote the Wait But Why famous blog writer, is every day is just a small square in a larger painting, small pixel in a larger photo. So you can only actually see the picture after those pixels have been played out. So you can only looking backwards, like now looking backwards for the past 3 years, it all makes sense.
right.
In the moment, it didn't. It didn't. It was an unknown. I wasn't know what I do. I wasn't know. I had no idea what the outcome would be. Um,
And I love that you're talking about this because I feel like there's a need to control. So many people want to control everything, have to make sense of their life, which is why, you get a 9 to 5 job, you can make sense of it because you've seen that path before. You can kind of connect the dots before you do it. But to kind of, throw your degree
that's
away
not
and
your
just
life.
go for it.
That was
Exactly. That's
that was somebody else's life.
Exactly.
That's not
Exactly.
your life. Yeah. So it's but I would say there's a difference between the unknown and uncomfortable.
Mm.
I like to get into the unknown. That what keeps me alive. That's if I stay right now, I'm traveling at least. I try to stay at least 2 months in a place, but not much longer than that, because when things start to become too familiar, that's where for me is a sign to move on.
Get complacent.
Yes, when I'm realizing that time goes by so fast, and I'm like, wow, what happened the past month? I have no idea what's going on. Like the past few weeks. Then it's for me, it's time that hey, I'm not doing enough new things to stimulate my brain.
Mm.
Um, see, memories, our relocation of memories, like how we think about them in the future is uh, mainly correlated to the amount of impulses that our brain gets. Um, and then we come back to what I said in the beginning. If you're gonna be older, you're gonna look back at your life and you haven't done things that were different, that were outside of your comfort zone, that were making you scared, making you feel these feelings that some are nice, but some are good for you, but you don't like them. Being scared, nobody likes to be scared.
Or being vulnerable.
Vulnerable, being yeah, feeling vulnerable, not necessarily feeling vulnerable. Yeah, those things are memorable, but they're not nice to feel in
They're not
the
necessarily
moment.
comfortable. Yeah.
And when I notice that time starts to kind of like fly past me, and my brain is just kind of like used to this routine and to this daily life. Well, that's when I make the move to leave everything behind, go to a new place, start anew.
Well, there's something completely lifeless about being on autopilot. You
It
don't
is.
have to think about what you're doing.
It is.
And it's so easy also to get stuck in that habit. So I love that you're conscious enough to continuously be pushing yourself to stay alive and live an experience.
It's also energy training. You know, why does Mark Zuckerberg have 50 gray shirts, or Steve Jobs always have the same sweater? Because they don't want to be, they want to spend time and they want to lose energy making this trivial decisions, choices every day, and instead they want to focus on the bigger things, the more important things. I agree with that as well, but also I think there needs to be a balance. I like this morning I had a productive morning, and then I just want to get out of the house and be like, okay, where I'm gonna eat now? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to a new place. I'm gonna stroll around town. If there's still something I like, I have no idea, and I just go inside and taste something new. Look on the menu and see what they have. Those smaller things add up. Um, or spend the sunset playing volleyball on the beach. Um, and if you do that every day, then it's boring. Then do something else. Uh, so
Excellent.
you know,
Switch it up. Stay alive. I mean, I think that the key things that I'm getting from you, and feel free to add anything if I'm missing anything, is no regrets. Like if you want to do something, go for it. And that's part of what keeps you alive because right now is all that we have. So why wait until 60 years later to be like, shit, I wish I had done that.
exactly.
That's one. And then the other is, don't live somebody else's life. Like truly live your own, whatever that means for you. and you might not be able to tell what the heck is going on, or it doesn't make sense, but eventually it will, and you just have to completely trust in it.
Yeah. Ask yourself the question: where you are today, the choices you made up so far that lead you to this path, are they fully your own, or are they somebody else's? Are they influenced by your family, by your friends, or the, the dogmas of the society you live in, or are they truly your own? And you come to the realization that yes, they are your own. You're on a good path. By all means, keep going. If not, then uh, and you're happy, change it.
Yeah, so I think for you, and this is just based on everything I get, is like, why not is equivalent to living your life for you, period, end of subject.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to say to wrap up? Anything that you got out of even just sitting here doing it that maybe you didn't think of before?
Um, well, I would just say I think fear is a big thing for many people. Personally, I don't struggle with fear. I struggle um, with other things like like traveling so much, leaving everything behind every time does have its drawbacks. And feeling lonely, and then you have to it takes a lot of energy to build friends in a new place, and then you have to say goodbye again. So it's really emotional roller coaster in that sense. Um, but for a lot of people, it's fear that holds them back, and truly the greatest things of life are behind that curtain of fear. So I think you need to find your own way of dealing with that. It's gonna be different. I can't tell you like just do it. Yeah, I won't quote like just do it because that's what do you
Even
get
though
out of
you
it?
just did?
Yeah, but find your own way to be because to come back to what I just said, there's two things: there's the unknown and uncomfortable. I rarely get out of the uncomfortable, but I'm always in the unknown. So find a way to be comfortable in the unknown, and then that's when you get rid of fear, because you are comfortable, even though your environment's completely different. Find peace and find stability within yourself, and then know that whatever changes around you, whatever life throws at you, you are you.
Mm,
You're gonna be able to adapt to that.
totally.
So find peace in the know that things will always change, but find peace in the fact that things are dynamic.
I think that comes from trust, right? That's the trust you were talking about.
Mhm.
Trust is going to be okay. If it's unknown, but you have unwavering trust in the universe and yourself and whatever life throws at you, then you can be comfortable. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any last words? I'll give you one more chance. You don't have to. No pressure.
Yeah. If personally, the reason I made this move as well, if climate, if you're living in a place that has bad climate, move to a place that does make you happy.
Yeah.
Because we need the vitamin D. We need the sun.
Soak it up.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, Max.
Thank you so much, Maxim, for a wonderful interview and for all that you shared. And for the inspiration to go blaze a trail that is truly our own, to find comfort in the unknown, to find complete fulfillment in your life, and a little bit of vitamin D along the way. Now I'm curious, what did you all get from this interview? Are there lingering questions that you still want answered? Please let us know. We're always looking for ways to improve and dig deeper. Now, go live your ultimate life. And of course, don't be afraid to say, why not?